Now, there's a reason why I call this the home of the common Joe and common Sally No, even more so than all those media talking heads. And that's because I get a lot of my inspiration and ideas from the common Joes out there, the same way all these media talking heads do, except they don't give you kudos. And I was talking to a guy the other day, and a great Oklahoma fan by the name of Ethan Evans, and he gave me an inspiration, an epiphany. I asked him his opinion. I said, "What do you think I should do my next podcast on?" Because I ask common Joes that all the time, because I'm a common Joe just like them. And he said, "What about Glenn Coffey, the guy who left the NFL after having a pretty good career to go to the military to serve our country?" And it sort of dawned on me, because we've just been talking about this mystery $8 million man, this recruit that's about to sign with one of these colleges out there. They won't give his name out. And I was like, why doesn't the military get NIL deals? Why doesn't great servicemen and women get NIL deals? They're the real stars, right? They're out there risking their life and their limbs in peril for what, $30,000 or $40,000 a year at the top. And you got all these other athletes out there whining and complaining and wetting their damn diapers profusely because they can't get an $8 million deal. Let's talk about it. How's it going out there today, guys and gals in sporting land? This is JPC. I am the OCF, as made by you guys and gals out there who are the home of the common Joe and the common Sally, and the know even more so than all those media talking heads. Now, getting right to it. That was a pretty long lead up, I know. But before I get into this story, I'd like to just say a little something real quick. Hey, yo. I'd like to throw a R.I.P. out there to one Razor Ramon, a.k.a. Scott Hall, him and his family and friends in their time of mourning. Probably one of the best wrestlers that never held the world title, but was cutting edge in making the heel a cool thing. Him and Stone Cold Steve Austin. They really put wrestling on the map with the whole NWO angle, and then Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and all those guys. They really put pro wrestling on the map. I just want to give him a real quick shout out, and he was a character. Now, moving on. Today I want to talk about a subject that was inspired to me by Common Joe and Sally in the Know, as always, because I always run these ideas by a lot of the people that correspond with me on the channel and make comments and whatnot, see what they think. And he came up with a pretty good idea that inspired me. He was talking to me, and I was like, what would be a good idea for another podcast? And he said, what about Glenn Coffey, the guy who played for Alabama and ended up playing for, I think, the San Francisco 49ers, but ended up joining the military even when he was still having pretty good seasons as a football player and still could have made big money, but yet he went out and joined the military. I'm like, yeah, that's a good topic, but I can also intertwine that with the crap that's going on right now with the whole $8 million man. The mystery $8 million man. You know, they got to play it up and make it all dramatic and shit, because that's what the talking heads and the media like to do out there. I'm like, why can't we as a society realize what's most important sometimes? I love sports. I'm not getting on here to preach. I'm not getting on here to preach and talk down to anybody or point my finger or wag my finger, because I'm guilty of it too. I love sports just like the rest of you. But wouldn't it be great if we could give NIL deals to military personnel? You know, those guys and gals that are 18, 19 years old and risk being maimed for life and maybe even taking a bullet to the head or something. And yeah, sure, football is probably the closest sport that we have to war, but it's still not on the level of serving in the military and actually risking your life day in and day out. Why can't we give an NIL deal to a serviceman or woman that maybe saved a bunch of people in war or lost an arm or a leg trying to protect our country, or not even our country, but another country? I mean, because that's what we do a lot these days. We don't really protect our own borders. I'm not going to get into all that. But we serve other countries and protect their borders more than we do our own. We send our young men and women over there to get maimed. So why not give an NIL deal to them? If one company, one big company could just think of that, if that epiphany could just come to them just one time, I think it would be a great PR move for them to give an NIL deal to the best military personnel out there. Or hell, just start paying military personnel more. You worried about paying these, oh, I'm not getting my piece of the pie. I'm getting mistreated as a student athlete. Man, shut up. Y'all don't know what it's like to really be in a war. Okay? So, yeah, I agree. NIL deals are fine, but they need to be regulated somehow, and also you don't need to be making that much money at that young of an age unless you're really doing something profound like serving in a war, in my opinion. You get these kids 18, 19 years old, man, and they already think that, hey, that they're on a pedestal and they can do things and get away with things and say things to people and do things to people and get away with it just because they chase a ball around. All you're doing is chasing a ball around. Granted, like I said, football, you get a lot of injuries in football, a lot of life-altering injuries in football. So football should get paid more than any other sport. Now, you're going to have the Title IX people coming out banging their little Bibles about and calling me out, but it has nothing to do with gender, it has nothing to do with race. It's got to do with the person. If you're able to make more money as a car salesman, what happens? You make more money as a car salesman, you get more money, you get more commission. You don't have to share it with somebody that only sold one car while you sold 8 cars. You don't share your commission with them just because they're a female minority or vice versa. You don't do that because it's about the person. It's not about the race. It's not about the gender. Just like in sports. If football is selling more tickets and making millions of dollars, you shouldn't have to pay a volleyball player as much as you did the football player. It's pretty simple. It's just they want to try to twist it and make it about gender and race all the time so they can have their way and have the easy way out or something. Just like with these athletes. These high school players now getting $8 million deals. It shouldn't be happening, man. And I think it's all going to implode one day. I really do. Maybe not in my lifetime or yours, but one day people will be just fed up, sick and tired of paying out all this money to all these athletes who do nothing but chase around balls all day. It's going to implode. And I think it's going to affect pro sports to the point one day that you may not even have pro sports. I mean, hell, even high school athletics is being affected by this now. It's going to get to the point where the only way you can enjoy sports is to watch pee-wee football or junior high football or go outside and play football and basketball or volleyball or golf with your friends and enjoy watching each other play. You may think that's far-reaching, but I can see it one day. It's going to get oversaturated. People are going to get fed up, and they're just going to stop watching. They're going to start tuning out, just like they're doing in a lot of these pro sports. And now it's trickling down to college sports. Maybe it's going to trickle down to high school sports. I don't know. But that's all I got to say about that today. Went on a little rant here today about it because I just feel like that we got our morals misplaced a little bit. Even me. I think they ought to give the military personnel NIL deals. And maybe some of these athletes need to realize that you need to earn your way before you get paid. That's what your bosses before you did, and that's what you need to do. And with that, I'm going to get off here. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams.